All right, now I'm back. See, I'm not the guy that's so. Let's say the younger people have got in this situation, and see, check that out. He jumps over on YouTube, and you can hear me, and it's delayed. And no, you're not hearing echoes. You might be, but I told you I was going to come back, and I was going to discuss the one thing that means more to me besides God Himself: family. I do want to understand that some of my family don't support what I'm doing here. They didn't support me here. Some of them are very against it because they think I should keep my mouth shut, which is not easy to do. That there's possibility that you bring problems into our family. That they say, well, Mike can create problems. And my thing is, have respect for them and don't approach them about this. If they don't like it, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm a grown man. I'm gonna do pretty much what I want to do. And I do thank you as you come in to that. I appreciate you viewing, and I'm going to be talking about family. And these are my views on family. And let understand, you may not like what I'm fixing, and this is what I wrote in my first part of the book you don't want to read, One Man's Opinion. And I said, family can go in many different directions in several different categories: mom, dad, brother, sister, grandparents, husbands, wife, kids, cousins, on down the line. In addition, you have good, bad, and all the right families, religious and non religion. I fall in the religious category because I do believe in God. God is number one. Church was not a question. It seemed that everybody went to church and our family met to have lunch and spend the day together. Nowadays, it still happens. But I have seen this drop a lot across America. And I think this was about in 2005, and this is 2024. And I can tell you this don't happen very often anymore. I do go see one of my sisters every chance I get on Sunday. And thank you, sis, for making that meals that you give me. I enjoy the fellowship and spending time with them. And by the way, I get shot for this, but he's a big Bubba Wallace fan also. And this is my opinion, but it's you got anything that you get out of this. I hope it pulls you together and that you understand that this is, for me, trying to help guide families together. Hey, I'm just an old country boy, and I go out there and I work all I can. Um, I do, but family's very important. Some of my kids, they don't get to see me much. They lived that life for all their life that I was gone every other month, sometimes 2 months. Sometimes they didn't see me for 3 months. My kids know I loved them. My kids know I was going to call them and check on them. You know, I'm married today. I won't say her name, but I love her and I care for her. Yeah, we have rocky roads, believe me, and probably throw rocks at me right now if she could get the door open. But I'm blessed. I appreciate it. Good cook too. I had chicken and dumplings. Well, let's talk about family. Where does it begin? Family began with first God creating Adam and Eve. That was beginning. Look how it's progressed many, many, many years later. I have my own family. I love them. Mom and dad have passed on, aunts and uncles, grandparents, friends. And I want to say this, a lot of my friends is like family. I'd fight for them just like I'd fight for brothers and sisters. They know if they need something, I'll do anything I can to go out of my way. For let's go to you. And as you're thinking about this and you're hearing me speak, I want you to look back when you was a child. I hope it was a good childhood. I know everybody has not had that cherry lifestyle that, where you was born, mama's looking at you and daddy's looking at you and you come home to a nice home. Don't everybody have that. And believe me, I understand. Today we have more broken homes, divorce, kids out of wedlock, kids that don't know daddy, kids that don't know mama. Now, I want to make something straight right now. Male and female. There is no other. You was born a man, a boy, a baby, male or female. That's what God made you. Don't let people try to tell you something that you're not. And I will say this, anybody that wants to tell me how my kids are going to be identified, I got news for you. It's not going to be a nice situation for you or anybody else. It starts at home. Don't start in the government. It's not for our government to tell us how to raise our kids. Now, I very much believe in law enforcement. I very much believe that if you're being abused, something should be done. But let's talk about family. Let's talk about the perfect family that you look at. Now, what do I visualize as a perfect family? Well, be honest with you, I don't know one. Everybody's got problems, and we don't know how you live on the other side of your door, and you don't know how I live on the other side of this door. You may be thinking, wow, this is a nice room. I can tell you right now, it's a wreck. Don't beat me, wife, please. It's a wreck. But I'm not going to get up here and put on a show for you that makes want you to think I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not better than you. I don't care who you are. I'm not better than you. I'm trying to live right, trying to do the right things. Family, when you're a child, I do want to say this about babies. I think I share the same view and opinion as Donald Trump. There is reasons for abortion, especially when somebody's been taken advantage of, as in rape, uh, incest. Yes, there's reasons, sickness, for the mother's health, Yeah, there's reasons. I agree with you there, but not just because you went out and enjoyed and had that 30-second blast that you feel you have the right to take a child's life because you didn't want that responsibility in the first place. I'm going to tell you, you should have been grown enough in the first place to say no or to use protection. That's where you should have started, not after that child was made, because then there's responsibility. There's responsibility of parenting, being that mother, being that father. Not I don't even like to hear about the baby mama or my baby daddy and all that. I don't care nothing about that. It's about being the father. It's about being the mother. And there's a lot of husbands and wives out there. They can't have them child. They can't have the joy of having that child. And you know something? They want a child. They want an adoption. And then a lot of times it's harder to get that adoption to qualify. And I can tell you this, there's a lot of them that do qualify that I don't agree with. I won't get into who they are or what they are or how they live. It's not for me to say. God will judge them. God will take care of that part. But here's what I'm getting at: family, the unity. And it's not just blood, it's my friends are family. It's some of the people I work with are my family. And they know who they are and they know that I care a lot about them. They know that I love them. That I will say this, my family, my wife's family, I know they're not sitting there watching this, but I do want them to know that, yeah, I love them. They may not like me, but I love them. You know, I may not like them all the time. I may not like some of my own all the time, but we get over it. There's times to let things go, but you got to work together to be a family, to be a husband and wife. It takes two. And that's something I've been trying to tell my children, the boys and the girls and young people. When you're dating someone, when you marry someone, in God's eyes, you become one. But I want to make this clear. You become partner. You don't become property. You don't own them. You can't be demanding on them. You can't push them around. You have to work together to build. You have to earn trust. Trust is something very hard. Jealousy. I don't like jealousy. I was a very jealous person. I will say that at one time in my life. I didn't trust. Trust is something you have to earn. But, you know, it's not just the fact that you're married and you living together, you have kids together. It's the responsibility. It's the responsibility as today as it was yesterday. You got to go get a job. You got to work and make a living. You got to provide. You got to want something. You want to show your kids that you want something out of life, that you want to give them the best that you can give them. And now let's, and then I hope I don't run you off, but I'm fixing to get into a part of family that I kind of touched on in my introduction. It's about getting that job. It's about having to go to work and provide. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Today, it's not easy. And if you're watching any of the news out there, they're telling you about how prices are up. And I seen where old Kamala Harris jumps up there talking about what she's going to do. She ain't going to do nothing. She ain't did nothing in 3.5 years. Why do you expect that she would come out and do anything today? Joe Biden, Kamala Harris put us where we're at today, and they'll keep you here tomorrow. And that's all I'm going to say about it. But I will say this: you got to work, you got to provide, whether it's just a man or a woman, husband and wife, boyfriend or girlfriend. You got to work together. And if you want to build into a relationship and be married and have a family, you got to work for it. I'm telling you, you can't sit back and wait on mama and daddy to do it for you. And if your mama and daddy are sitting there and they're rich and they're blessed and they're giving to you every day and they're giving everything they can, they're giving you a beautiful home and you're sitting there and you're enjoying it, you got the ride of your life. I'm telling you right now, that ride comes to an end. And if you don't have the education and you don't know how to manage life and money and responsibility, guess what? It don't last. And usually in the marriage, it comes to an end. And I will talk about that part later on, divorce. And Lord, I've been there, done that, wasn't happy, and I don't believe in divorce. I will tell you that. But many a times, I will be honest to you, my marriage today is not always the best, but I tell you what, I love her and I care for her. And I ask God to guide me. And I'm going to tell you something. I love to talk and I love to enjoy and I love to joke around. If you know me, you know I'm going to mess with you. I'm going to mess with you. Might as well get ready because I'm going to mess with you. You never know from one minute to the next where I'm coming. Because Authr Country Mike or Mike or the other AH, but I love to enjoy life. So as I'm talking about family, I want you to understand that, where does it start? Where does it start? And where does it end? Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. For me and family, it don't end. Mom and daddy's gone. Bless their heart. Yeah, that's not over with. I hope and pray to God that one day I'm going to be right there with them and enjoying life. Now, you may not believe in God, as I said before, and when I did my introduction, hear me off. Don't. But I believe in God. I'm going to talk about it. And if these people, YouTube or whoever wants to turn that knob, that's their that's their choice. But I'm going to tell you, family to me is not just blood. It's my friends. It's my neighbors. And I love them. And I care for them. And they all, I got news for you. Don't let this shock you. Don't let this shock you. Some are black. Some are Latinos. Um, some are from the islands. Uh, hey, some are Yankees too. Yeah, they know who I'm talking about. I mess with them. They live up yonder somewhere, over yonder somewhere. Oh, and by the way, Louisiana, I got I got family down there. Love them to death, and I guarantee he'd wrestle alligator if he wanted to, and he's big enough. I got family out in Texas, friends and family. Let's see. If I had to choose where my friends and family and are, I can tell you this, they stretch all the way from Portland, Oregon, down into Mexico. Some I haven't seen. One friend was in Hawaii I haven't seen in years. Did try to contact him. About every other state, I'd say I have friends, families. Like I said, I'm 63, so family's going pretty quick nowadays. I've got grandkids and I'm blessed. But that's family. That's family. Family is one to look at each other and say, if they need something, they go to help. And I can tell you, I got family. They don't, they, there's times they've given to me when I didn't need it. They thought I did. They thought I did. And, you know, I appreciate it. I love you. But I'm going to tell you where family really needs to start. If you're in a relationship, you're thinking about getting married, let me tell you something. Get in church, get to know God, worship together, spend time together. And I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be easy, especially today. Not whenever you got to go down to the grocery store and you buy groceries and you realize, dang, it took everything I made this week to go and buy groceries. Well, guess what? Excuse me. It's not going to be no different next week whenever you go to buy groceries because they're expensive. Believe me, I know it. I'm blessed. I'm not rich, but I'm blessed. I can go buy groceries. Believe me, I got a wife that can cook. I ate me some chicken and dumplings today. They was good. Cornbread, sweet tea. Lord, don't get me started. Family. You want God in your life. I can tell you that. You want friends in your life. Don't go with don't go through life without friends. And if you're angry about something, learn forgiveness. I'll tell you a little story today. And this has got nothing to do with family, but I had to go to the where I get my glasses, and I don't think I was treated very well. I'm sure she didn't think I was a very nice person. Um, but I got very ill. I don't. These glasses cost a lot of money, and she's going to tell me how I had cleaned them with alcohol, and they was all scratched up. They're not even 5 months old. And I said, "Well, look, this is what I told you I needed, and this is what I want." And she's like, "Well, you didn't pay for that." And I'm like, "Well, 600 and something dollars. I know I paid for something." And I said, she's like, "Well, you're cleaning your glasses with alcohol." I said, "Well, nobody told me not to clean my glasses with alcohol, but I'm going to clean my glasses. But I know what I use." And I looked it up and I showed it to her. And I said, "By the way, before I showed her, she showed, I was reading and I asked her about what type of lenses I had. And on that box, it said for those lenses. So I'm still wrong because it might have been alcohol based. That nobody ever told me not to clean my glasses with alcohol." And I said, "Are they not glass?" "Oh, they don't make glass lenses no more." Well, I know I kind of got off track, but I'm telling you, it made me angry. And I'm kind of sorry about it because I realize as I get older, it's not hard for me to get angered towards people. Some of the guys at work, I love you. But sometimes we have to step back. Sometimes we have to bow our head and pray for forgiveness. Sometimes it's best not to say nothing at all, especially where marriage is concerned. Then you bring that unity together and you have a child. Well, today, bringing a child into this world is not just done about building a family. A lot of children are brought into this world today. They have no clue. The mother has no clue about being a mother. She has no support. There is no relationship. And that baby's just going to be brought into this world. And I've written a song. It's called Wings That Never Fly. And it's about the children that never have a chance in life. I'm looking at having some young musicians work on this song for me. But it's so sad how many kids are brought into this country today, into this world today, that don't even have a chance, that don't have mama, that don't have daddy, that don't even have a family, that are just brought into a life with no future. Now, as I say that, looking out amongst what's going on today in this country, you as even a couple that just got married, I will say this: tomorrow's not promised. Tomorrow's not promised, and yesterday's gone. So if something happened yesterday that you're not happy with, work together and try to fix it. Don't give up. Get off your butt and go to work tomorrow too. You got to support your family, and if you got kids, you got to support your kids. Don't expect mom and daddy to do it for you. Don't expect mama and papa or friends and cousins and aunties. And you know what I'm saying is, in my introduction, I talk about education. Education is not just getting from school. Every day you learn something, and it's how you use it. It's how you apply that. I'm really big on words. Now, I don't have the best education. I'm big on words that I really like to talk about, like motivation, um, determination, inspiration. I could go on, but there's an excitement when you talk about having a child. There's an excitement for most, but when you know in your heart that it's something that you really don't want, you need to step back, especially if you're listening to me tonight and say, you know what, maybe I need to be smart. Maybe I need some kind of protection. Maybe I need to say no. And men, when boys and kids, when they say no, it means no. There is, it means no. And be respectful. Like I say, get to know that book. Now, don't believe now, I want you to understand, don't believe you're sitting there listening to somebody that's better than you. Don't believe you're sitting there looking at someone that's a saint, because I'm nowhere near. And I'll never say I, I sin every day. I do something wrong every day, I promise you. but it's working together. Friends, family, working with God, working in the church. Some of the best experience I have nowadays is going to church. I love my church. And I go to my wife's church. Um, but making the right choices, building, and wanting, wanting that to give everything you can to your kids. But I want to make this clear. And I want you to listen to where I'm coming from. We have so many challenges today, so many challenges, whether it's a phone, a computer, an iPad, on the street, in schools, in your churches, magazines. I mean, it goes on and on. And you can pick that phone up, you can pick that iPad up, you can open this computer up, you can, I'm telling you, there's so much corruption in this world that the younger generation, they don't have a clue. The fact that when I was a kid, a phone was one of these things you picked up and you did this to make a phone call, and you're holding it, and it is a line that runs in through the wall, and you just didn't pick a phone up and say, make that phone call, because I can tell you, we didn't have it. When we went to the TV, we had 3 channels, 3. And before my mom and dad's time and back many years ago, they didn't have a TV. A phone then, they would do this. They'd be turning a little crank. They'd have a thing they'd speak into. Hey, Abel, hook me up. I want to speak to Janie. I'm serious. You watch these old movies, that's how they did it. But isn't it crazy today? Isn't it crazy? Anything you want to know, you can pick that phone up, or you can pick that iPad up, you can get on that computer, or you can get on TV, and you can find it. What gets me is I'm not talking about grown-ups. I'm talking about teenagers. I'm talking about little kids. They have access to about anything you can imagine. We see more corruption. We see more addiction. We see more alcoholism. There is so much influence in today's time, and especially negative influence, that being a family, being a parent, being an aunt, being an uncle, just being a friend, we see these challenges. And I know my friends and family, we try to pull together, we try to work together, we discuss these things. Some of them we don't want to hear, some of them don't want to hear what we have to say. Sometimes we don't want to hear what they, but we do care. But I'm gonna tell you, there's so many out there today that they don't even, they have no clue. They have no clue. There's so many young kids out there today that don't have a family. There's so many kids out there today, even though they got families, they don't have families. And what am I saying? Look, you want to see a good example? Watch Um, Yanksy, it's a movie. It's about a phone. Yeah, it's comedy, but it has some bad language. But what I'm saying, it goes to show in the beginning, mom and dad handing the phone to him, keep him occupied. I was a big I wasn't a victim of that. No, we went outside. We played cowboys and Indians. Yeah, we had BB guns. We had shotguns. We had rifles. We hunted. Um, as we grew up, we played sports in the summertime, baseball. We had friends. We had families that come to the house. I had friends that I stayed with on the weekends, or they was with me. My sister was the same way. That was back then. Nowadays, you don't see that as much. Hey, and I will say this: I go to church. I'm going to say where I go to church. Cross Point, beautiful place, and I'm going to tell you something. Beautiful congregation, young people and all. I love it. I love it. I enjoy going there. I enjoy going where my wife goes. We will talk about religion. I do write about it also, but what I'm getting at is family. It is so challenging today. Buying a home. You're hearing Kamala Harris talk about what she wants to do. $25,000 to your first home buyers. I want you to know whether it's your student loan, whether it's you going to get that money for a first time house, whether you're an illegal and they're talking about giving you a $150,000 loan down there in California. I want to tell you something, and you listen to me. There's somebody out there busting their butt to make that dollar and paying taxes that this administration's handing over like it's magic popping up in your wallet. It ain't happening. And I can tell you, I'm a taxpayer and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I don't even get me started on illegals because I'm talking about family right now. You know what? It's a threat to my family. It's a threat to your family. That's right. I said it. It's a threat to your family. It's a threat to them little kids and how they their future is relying on your vote. I won't be political about it, but it's got to be a political time. You got to be political sometimes. What I'm getting at, think about this. Think about this. Those kids relying on you, not that phone, not that TV, not that game. They're relying on you to show them. They're relying on you to get them in that church if you want them in that church, and they should be in that church. They're relying on you for help. They're relying on you for that meal tomorrow. And it's your responsibility if you're mama. It's your responsibility if it's daddy. It's not mama and papa's responsibility to feed your kids. It's your responsibility. And mama, papa, aunts, uncles, I'm going to tell you something. And I'm just as guilty as you are when I say this. When do we cut our ties? Well, I got news for you. We don't. I want my grandkids eating. I want my grandkids healthy. I want my kids healthy. I want your kids healthy. And I don't mind paying taxes as long as it's used for something here. As long as it's taking care of my family and your family that's American, that's those that work for this country. Not somebody just walked across over here that just showed up and they think there should be privileges. And I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be telling the story later on. But I want you to please come and listen. And it's called Cowboys and Indians. Yeah, I do want you to come when I discuss this. I will let you know when I do it. But what I'm getting at, here's what you need to understand. Mama, daddy, brothers, sisters, you, the mama, you, the daddy, you, the family, just like myself. I might not wake up in the morning. I could be gone. I could be gone. What happens? Who's there to take care of you? Who's there to take care of your kids? So, what am I saying? This is what I'm going to tell you. Get off your butt and go get an education. If you're a kid and you're in school, work. Get an education. Use that education to get you a job. That you decide to build a family, you can afford to build a family. And where does it start? It starts in two places. God is number one. Having him in your life, having him in your family's life, and in your children's life is very important. Number two is you and how you show for your mama, being the mama, as the daddy, that you can afford to support those you bring into this world, that you're willing to get up and go to work, that you're willing to go out there and get that education that you need, because it's not mom and daddy's place. It's not your mom and daddy's place. It's not your grandparents' place. It's not your aunt's place. If you want to have a family, it's your place. You may not like what I'm saying. Turn me off. Turn me off. But I can tell you this: love your family, love your friends. Those you trust, keep them close. Tomorrow's not promised. Nothing's promised. But I can tell you this: if you're my friend, you're my family. I love you. I care for you. I do anything I can that, as long as I can do it. Don't ask me for money. Like I told you in the introduction, if you got money you want to give, send it to me. I'll be glad to take it. I'll take donations. And if I'm blessed enough to where I can help you and the good Lord puts it in my heart to help you, I'm going to help you. But in my ending, I'm going to do what I'm going to do every time. I'm going to pray. I'm going to bow my head and I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray for you. And if you don't like it, turn me off. I'm still going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for your family. I'm going to pray for those that are lost. Bow our heads. Lord, thank you for this time that you've given me. Thank you for the many blessings. I even thank you for the energy you've put inside me to put forward to doing this. Lord, be with those that are lost, that don't believe in you. No, Don't want to give you the time of day. And I tell you, Lord, they don't know what they're missing. I'm praying that you can help build families and bring in the unity and bring them into your church. You let them get to know you. These that are sick, that you can lay a healing hand on them. Those that are hurting from the loss of a loved one, that you lay a healing hand and a comforting hand on them. Be with our soldiers. Be with our soldiers that are overseas. Be with those families that have lost those that have fought for this country. Lord, I ask that you look over this country. I know the others that are fighting death that's going every day, deaths that is happening, Lord. I'm asking you that you try, that you can lay that hand on all the anger, all the nonsense going on in this country. Help us, help us bring it together. Lord, we know there's going to come a time when you do come. And I hope and pray that each and every one of you are with him, that you got to know him, that you've asked for forgiveness. And Lord, thank you. Thank you for everything you do in my life. In God's name I pray. Amen. Thank you. I hope you come back. God bless you. God bless America. Have a nice evening. I will be doing more. Thank you.